I did see in a video where somebody said to use 1 tablespoon of green tea. They obviously didn't do it because 1 tablespoon is way too much. You are not putting a mask on your rear end. So today we're going to be talking about matcha and green tea. Which is better to do on your skin if you are doing a do-it-yourself green tea mask. Now, the formulation that I'm going to be doing today, you can adjust it. It could be for hyperpigmentation and it could be for sensitive skin, and you can actually do it more as an exfoliating mask, and I'll try to show 3 different formulations. Hi, my name is Christy. I have been treating clients for over 12 years now with hyperpigmentation, acne, and other skin conditions. So we're going to be talking about the differences between matcha and green tea because they are not the same, and which one would be better for your skin. And this is also, I'm going to be teaching you how to look for it in your label to make sure you are actually buying the matcha versus just the green tea. So for those of you who are highly sensitive to the chemicals in sunscreen, or you're developing a sensitivity, you may want to watch this video because clinical studies have actually shown that using the ingredients in green tea actually can help desensitize your skin when exposed to sunscreen ingredients. Green tea has a low penetration or absorption rate in the skin. However, niacinamide increases absorption in the skin. So that is why if you can use an antioxidant, that's why I use the serum in with the green tea. It actually helps increase the efficacies of the antioxidant properties in the green tea, and if you're using the antioxidant serum as well as that. So that is important. So that's why I did that. Now, matcha, green tea, white tea, black tea, pu'er tea, they all come from the same plant, which is the Camellia sinensis plant. It may be slightly different strains, it may be harvested a little bit differently, but they all come from the same plant. So the reason why matcha is the preferred blend for drinking, for consumption, as well as application is because when matcha uses the younger leaves and it's not as processed, it has higher levels of catechin. So it's a type of, it can be an antioxidant. So it has EGC, ECG, and EGCG. So those are the 3 types of catechin. So the first one is epicatechin. The second one is epigallocatechin gallate, and the other one is epicatechin gallate. So those are some of the antioxidants in the younger leaf that is attributed to the benefits of consuming green tea for anti-cancer, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. There's so many tests, and I'm going to put all these links. These are clinical studies of links in my blog that have the links to these studies. And over again, it's helped slow down neural diseases, so anything related to the brain, with the skin, with the joints, all these different things. And there's even one that actually has shown that these catechins actually help a lot with the hyperpigmentation. So it actually disperses the pigments. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is just green tea. So when you go down the grocery store and you see sencha, sencha is a generic Japanese word for green tea. So it's kind of like just saying coffee, not espresso coffee, not Colombian coffee. When it says sencha and not matcha, it is not the same. So green tea is actually a young leaf, and it is grown in the sun. They use the stems and the leaves. So the color is not like matcha, which is a bright green color. It is like a yellowish, sometimes even slightly brownish, and that's due to when they slightly steam it or bake it or pan sear it. So they have a different processing of what they do with this, I want to say sencha, with the green tea versus the matcha. Now, matcha, on the other hand, is a young leaf. It's actually grown in the shade. And matcha is kind of like the word champagne. When you use champagne, you know that it was grown in the region of Champagne, and there's a specific process that they use to be champagne. So champagne is different from sparkling wine. So matcha is the same thing. When you hear matcha, it's grown in Japan and they use the Japanese way. So it is hand-picked versus machine processed, and they only pick the best leaves. They don't use the veins, they don't use the stems of it, and then they roll it, and then that's when they may ground it into dry it, and then they ground it into the matcha tea. So the Japanese way is they actually lightly steam it to stop the oxidation. And we're going to be looking at the differences between even old matcha and new matcha. So I'm going to show you an example. So I actually bought this from Costco, and I'm going to put links in the description. I did find it on Amazon. I don't know if it's the same exact one, but this one is the Sencha Naturals. That's the brand, organic matcha, 100% Japanese green tea powder. And it actually, I don't know if you can see, it actually shows the area that it's from. That's Kyoto. I have mine that I actually got from Japan. It is old, okay? So I'm going to show you the difference of the color of what happens when it's oxidized. So both of these are green tea. If you can believe it, both of them are matcha tea. This one is really old, and this one is the new one. So you can just see the color of it. So even though they're the same product, this is what happens when it's oxidized, and this is brand new matcha. So I just wanted to show you the difference between the two. Now, obviously, because it's fresher, you want the active ingredients that are in green tea to be more beneficial for your facial. So what you want to do is you want to get your green tea, and then what I use is so for those of you who have purchased this is the translucent rice powder. So this is a combination of finely pulverized rice powder. It also has white kaolin clay, and that's actually more gentle, and it does absorb somewhat oil but not a lot. So for those of you who are concerned and you have dry skin, it actually works really well. And rice powder naturally has phytic acid and niacinamide in there, so it actually boosts the anti-aging properties on there, and they're both brightening agents. I did see in a video where somebody said to use 1 tablespoon of green tea. They obviously didn't do it because 1 tablespoon is way too much. You are not putting a mask on your rear end. You're using it for your face. So you can use like 1/8 of a teaspoon in here. I did 1/8 of a teaspoon and 1/8 of a teaspoon, equal parts of the translucent rice powder in there. Okay. Now, if you have sensitive skin, you're not going to do the toner. You're going to do water instead, and use warm water. Okay. So I'm using the Botanical Biopeptide Toner. All the links and descriptions will be in the description below. You don't have to use this one particular, but I love this one because it actually says that this increases your hydration level. It also increases the efficacy of anti-aging agents. So that's why I'm using this. So this is a spray, but you're not going to do spray. You're going to open it up. And now this can be totally personal, up to you. You want it as concentrated as possible. So you're just going to make it, I like to do the consistency of a paste, a thicker paste. Add a little bit more. So because the pH of this, and it actually says it, because the pH is actually created to increase the efficacy of anti-aging ingredients, I know that this will be pH compatible. So if do not use this with witch hazel, it's going to be too drying for your skin, okay? You want preferably this kind of consistency. I don't know if you can see it. So it's not, if you can tell, it's not like dripping off the brush, okay? It's a nice, smooth texture. Okay. So I have included in here some alternative ways and different ways that you can use with a facial. Obviously, because I am a licensed professional and I've been doing this for over 12 years, I have professional level serums that is actually made to be used in masks and creams. If you use an over-the-counter serums, they're too watery, they're probably not going to work, okay? But you can, and how you can kind of alternate that is add the serums onto your face first, let it absorb, and then apply the mask. But this is designed to be added into the mask. Okay, so for those of you who watched our last week's video on the exfoliating eye treatment, we're just going to take off from there. So let's say you already did all your exfoliation. So for those of you who are not professionals, you would use your over-the-counter serum directly on the skin. Okay, you can do it before or after the mask. Okay, but for your professionals that actually have the thicker, more concentrated enhancers, you can go ahead and add that to your mask. So this is 1/8 teaspoon. So it's just enough. See how it's just the consistency of like a mask. So matcha, if you are using high quality matcha, you're definitely not going to want to use too much and then end up wasting most of it. So Melissa, what does that smell like?
It smells like grass. Really
Yeah.
good though.
I always add it onto your neck as well. And look at that. I'm done. No, nothing is wasted. I used all of it, and it's just enough. Perfect consistency. So she has it on her face, and then you're just going to let it set on here. And the white kaolin clay will actually let the product actually dry, just like a clay-based mask, only it's not going to be super tight because there's different types of kaolin clay. And this one is the least dehydrating or least drying. Okay, so you would just leave this on there, let it set. If you're using it as an exfoliating scrub, what you can do is you can actually work through it, massage it, and activate the exfoliating agents in it, and then you still leave it to dry. It'll actually just dry on its own, just like you would without the exfoliating product on there. And that is excellent because of the brightening agents in that product as well. This here, this eye rescue cream, the second ingredient is shiitake mushrooms. Shiitake mushrooms and other mushrooms have been known to be lighteners and brighteners, and prevents they're actually tyrosinase inhibitors. So I like to use this for people who have hyperpigmentation or dark circles. And then at the very end during the day, I'm using the hydrating Lyra. This one has niacinamide, which also works very well with rice powder. And that is a natural tyrosinase inhibitor, as well as arbutin, which is a plant-based tyrosinase inhibitor. And that the body converts that into hydroquinone. So it's safer for people who cannot tolerate hydroquinone. Okay, so we're actually going to do finish off with the eye cream. So whatever eye cream that you are using, you're going to apply it on your ring finger. Tap so it's even. My gloves have stretched out now. And so you just want to apply here. You can, now there are some products you cannot do this with, but this one you can. Because some of them do say to not apply anywhere near on the eyelid. And you're just going to do the same thing. You can massage in very lightly. If you're doing this on yourself, then obviously you can still do it. You're just going to obviously do it a little bit differently. And you can just keep gently dotting up. You never want to go back and rubbing back and forth on there. Okay? So you're going to wait until this is completely dry and it's not tacky at all. So the next step is if you've already done your serum, you've already done your eye cream or your eye gel, you're going to take your spray toner and you're just going to spray until she's completely. So now see how moist she is? And then while her face is still moist, you're going to use the hydrating. Well, I'm using hydrating. There's oil-free. And you just want to make sure that it is evenly distributed. And so that is the end of the green tea do-it-yourself facial. Obviously, if you're doing this at night in the evening, you don't need sunscreen. You can just use a moisturizer. So I always do a multi-layering effect. I have the links all in the description below. Remember, makeup is an art and skincare is a science. And thank you for watching. And go ahead and put in the comments below if you've tried this and what other aspects, if you have any questions in regards to this. So thanks for watching.